I feel the spirit moving in me. I feel the spirit moving in me.
So, this is the beginning of the presentation. Carol will be the first person speaking. Carol, would you like to come up and share with us your wisdom and your prayer consciousness?
Nature's way, a wondrous path to the divine. Attention all students, we have a special announcement. Starting next week, Miss Beulah Fry will be teaching a class for high school students, teaching them about nature so that in the summertime, they can take grade school students hiking and creeking and do nature crafts. Every cell in my body lit up with joy when I heard that announcement, and I knew that that was mine to do. This is decades ago, of course. I showed up Friday afternoon. We spent 3 hours every Friday from about January to May learning about nature in the classroom. And then on Saturdays, we would go to natural areas around Western Pennsylvania and learn about nature. Nature found me. My family was not into nature at all, but that announcement and that moment guided my life in a way that was profound. During the summer, we went creeking, as we called it, with the kids, and I was a paid naturalist starting at the age of 15. Shortly thereafter, the Audubon Society of Western Pennsylvania was offering scholarships to Audubon camps. I was sitting with my mother at our kitchen table outside a window that had a beautiful green forest. She was asking me questions to help me figure out what to say on the application. And all of a sudden, I paused, I looked out the window, and I said, I teach people about nature, so they want to help protect the earth. We both paused and felt the wonder and the awe of that statement. It's one of my most treasured memories with my mother. Soon, I was off to the University of Virginia, where I majored in environmental science. Charlottesville was very close to Shenandoah National Park. By the time I graduated, I heard about a job at Shenandoah. And lo and behold, I had my first seasonal training at Shenandoah National Park to be a park guide, teaching people about nature. And if you're wondering, I'm in the front row on the right. So that vision for my life that I developed in high school came true in a magnificent way, and I spent 25 years working for the National Park Service. I teach people about nature, so they want to help protect the earth. Now, living in national parks is a wonderful thing because you have access to all these resources, so my days off were filled exploring the trails and the waterfalls of Shenandoah National Park, the salt marshes of Assateague Island, the mangrove creeks of South Florida when I worked at Biscayne National Park, and the coral reefs. And this experience of being immersed in nature was magnificent. I learned to relax, and I learned to feel the awe and wonder. Alas, when I was in South Florida, I had a run-in with this plant, Brazilian pepper. And after cutting a tree down in my yard because I figured it was an alien species and they were eradicating it at the park, I broke out in a rash all over my body. Threw my immune system into whack, and I soon developed all kinds of food allergies and chemical sensitivities. And in my quest for healing, I was talking to a friend who said, well, Carol, maybe it's in your mind. And I was so unaware of the body-mind-soul connection that I'm like, no, it's not in my mind, it's in my body. No. I was sharing with another friend, and she suggested I go see her counselor, which I did. And what a can of worms. Unlocking the Catholic, stern, dogmatic upbringing and the dysfunctional home and all the feelings that I never learned to feel. I spent 3 years with her, and it was sometimes quite challenging and in the end quite rewarding. Shortly thereafter, I was on a cross-country ski vacation in Maine. At that time, I was working at Fire Island National Seashore. And it was at a health resort, and they had all kinds of spiritual teachers coming in and giving talks. And I went to many of the presentations, and this one woman in particular, I just really resonated with. And she looked at me and said, oh, you are bathed in purple. You are so spiritual. And I'm like, yeah, right. And that night, I was restless and couldn't sleep. So in this beautiful lodge in the middle of the night, I got up. By that time, I had taken up journaling. And I just started writing and writing. And then I sat in the silence. I said, oh, I know what's different. I feel the presence of God. And it was so magnificent. I vowed to keep that connection going. Shortly after this trip, my life opened up in really wonderful ways. I met my husband, Dan. We had a daughter. And before I knew it, I was offered a position at Haleakala National Park. Yes, the beautiful park we are blessed to call neighbor. I spent 6.5 years working at Haleakala, and that's what got us to Maui and to find this church and to deepen the walk with God and to know that nature was truly, nature found me and brought me to God. And yet, as I was journaling to see if there's deeper wisdom in this story that I'm sharing with you, for myself and perhaps for you, I realized, yes, there is, and I'll share that in a minute after I tell you that my connection with nature, even though I'm not at the park now, is something I cultivate every single day. Within the first hour of the day, I'm out there giving Orchid Lady a hug, and I face the morning sun. Father, Son, happy Father's Day, Father, Son. And I stand on Mother Earth in my cotton socks, and I say prayers and affirmations and feel the earth and the sky and just get connected and centered for the day. And it's a wonderful way. I love nature. And yet, as I was searching for that deeper wisdom, I realized that as wonderful as nature is, that isn't necessary for that connection to God. This Rumi quote, which I'm going to come down here to read, is what sparked my thinking on this. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. Imagine yourself a drop on the surface of the ocean. And some days are really calm and everything's going really well. And some days it gets a little choppy and you manage to get through. And then some days it's downright turbulent. However, taking a moment as you, the drop, with the universe, with all that you need, with everything inside you, with nature inside you, with all the resources you need, all the divine wisdom, at any moment you can drop below the surface into the timeless depths of the divine. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Another part that I was privileged to hear Carol speak about, notice how she loves her slides and she's very good with this little pointy thing. That's what she did. She did presentations for the kids, for people, for visitors. I imagine at almost all of those parks she just identified. So I feel like a novice next to her. However, she sets a good example. Thank you, Carol. Marlene is our next presenter, and I'm imagining she'll give us her own individual version of God, Spirit, and nature. Oh, she's got a whole big thing here. Here you go, girl.
Aloha. I'm starting off a little bit different from the picture. So, Mom, can I stay in the pool and eat? That was me growing up. I wanted to live in the swimming pool that luckily got to have most of my life growing up at home. And I would pretend, I would try to see how long I could swim in the pool underwater in one breath. And my goal was to keep increasing it. I almost got to like 2 laps of our pool. And I would pretend that I was a dolphin. And, that made me feel so connected to who I felt like I was. And I just couldn't wait to see what more happened. So I also had a very deep love for Christmas time because we would put out these luminaries. Yeah. And they're these paper bags that you would put sand and a candle in and then light them up. And it was just, I loved candles and the whole light thing. And one particular Christmas we went out to put them, and it started snowing really, really hard. And I went to walk off by myself a little bit, and I actually fell like into this deep meditation, watching the snowflakes fall and everything. And I just paused and I was like, wow, listen to that silence. It was just absolutely incredible. And it really did take me into this place of oneness and this deep feeling of joy and love and a connection to God that I didn't realize till then. So there I am as a young one, connecting in the snowflakes, playing. So then I moved to Dallas, Texas, and I lived there for 11 years. And when I wasn't working, I connected in nature with a place called, that's the top picture there, White Rock Lake. And then the 2 bottom picture, well, the right picture and the bottom picture is a place called Bob Woodruff Park. And being there gave me several gifts. Being out there, I would spend like sunsets at White Rock, watching the sunset. It was just, they were pretty good at times. Nothing like here, though. But the gifts that I got were poetry and an owl. This owl lived in Bob Woodruff Park, and it surprised me one day. And every time I would go there, I would I would want to see the owl, want to hear him hoot. And it just made me feel so connected to life, hearing that whoo, whoo. So, so then the last like 6 years that I was there, I gotta do this. I decided to visit Texas because I had been spending a lot of my vacation times going back home, and I decided I wanted to visit Texas. So I spent time in these various places, and I had worked for this company called EDS, and they provided us with opportunities to connect with people, volunteer, and to go different places. And so I decided that I was going to go to Big Bend. This is Big Bend National Park. And in Big Bend, there was this, we stayed at this campsite where we had we were down on the bottom, and the rim of the mountains were behind us. And at night you could hear the whirling, whistling wind, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. And that whistle would just like, if you went into it, it was just that incredible space. And then at night, incredible views of the sky at night that just made me realize the vastness of the universe. And I was able to connect in feeling that within myself. And then I went to Davy Crockett National Forest, Dinosaur Valley. This is a drive along the hill country where there's tons of beautiful bluebonnets. And this was Pedernales Falls, which was outside of Austin. Rafting down the Guadalupe River in New Braunfels, which I learned how to just kind of relax and go with the flow of life, because it was just, once you got on, you had to go. So a lot of the gifts that I got from these places gave me courage, inner strength, connection with others, and huge vultures landing in front of the car that was taking me to Big Bend National Park, landing in front of on the road. It was like we were watching them spiral around, and then all of a sudden, a couple of them broke up, came all the way down, and they just boom right in the middle. We're like, okay, what do we do now? No, we didn't hit them. No, we stopped the car. They were big. They're like almost, like up to here. They're huge. I also started volunteering with a therapeutic horseback riding organization called eQuest, which worked with handicapped children and adults. And there it was all outside. So everything, I experienced greater compassion and a connection with those that are experiencing greater challenges in life, human and horse alike. Some of those horses really had some interesting stories to tell, and personalities to match. So all these places, they led me to a greater awareness of myself and a deeper yearning to move forward on my path. And I ended up participating in some sweat lodges that had me connect with one of my best friends in Dallas. And her and her son were planning to move, and I decided that I was going to help them move. And as I was driving to them, I started hearing the theme song from Hawaii Five-O playing in my head, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting, because I was listening to the radio in the car, right, and Hawaii Five-O was playing in my head. So I spent about another year before I moved here to Hawaii. Oh, I forgot that I added this in. I went to, actually, the last couple years before I left, I went and spent about a month in Toronto. And at the last part, I was helping to migrate a customer down to our Dallas campus. And so during the migration period, I knew that the computers would be offline and everything. I says, I'm going to Niagara Falls. And I got to walk behind the falls, and it was just like the power of all that water. And I just realized, that power of God is always here. Yeah, is right here, right now. And it was just incredible feeling that exhilaration of the water going over the rocks and everything. Then I moved here, and one of my visions was that I was able to swim with dolphins. So, I lived on this property up in Pukalani, and they had a fig tree on the property, and it was right outside my little room that I stayed in. And I would sit there and meditate a lot. And one day during my meditation, I just really went into this state of oneness where I was the fig tree and the fig tree was me. There was just this continuous flow of energy, and it was just incredibly awesome. So I went and swam with the dolphins, and I got this roommate, and she was having some health challenges, and I says, well, why don't you come swim with me? And so I grabbed a underwater camera and took pictures of the dolphins that we swam with. There's me. Hey. And so because they were like in a huge pod, right? And we were like in the middle with a bunch of other people that weren't really planned, I was like thinking, oh, I would love to have, a couple of dolphins break away from the pod and swim around us. And that's exactly what happened. And I know at that moment in time that consciousness is not limited by form. The dolphins are conscious, we are conscious, we have the abilities to connect with them and they with us. This is my most favorite place to be. It's right up the mountain here, Iaa Valley. It's like the most pictures I've ever taken is of Iaa. And I actually went home in 2002 when my father passed, and I would wake up from sleeping and experiencing myself running through Iaa Valley. And it was just like, oh, okay, I promise you I'll be back. So there was that connection, that just how connected we really are to nature when we allow ourselves to open up and feel that. This was during the pandemic. I took this picture at Laniapoko. I also discovered a trail up there and spent some time up there just taking pictures enjoying the sunsets and rainbows. And this is a shot I took out in Hana area. It's the Hui Aloha Church. So I had a lot of, opportunities to experience God in nature. And the joy and the depth of it is just very palpable. And one of the other things that I've been doing is, I dance hula. And the Hawaiians would always, in hula, connect with nature. That was a lot of their dances brought in the forms of nature. Before hulas, they would go out to the volcano or the area that they were going to be representing in their hulas, and bring back that energy so that they could share that with the people that they danced with. And I hope you enjoy the hula that will be happening later. Aloha.
I think Marlene gave us a sneak peek of the next one. Let's see if I can push the button correctly. I pushed it correctly, and here she is with a beautiful smile. You want this little thing?
Yeah, I probably should learn how to use this.
Well, if I could figure it out, you can too.
I'm not doing a PowerPoint presentation. Do you have a special spot? Do you have a place that you go to sit and be in the silence? That if you are sitting still and being quiet, you notice that you're not in the silence? Carol shared with me about Haleakala. This is up off the Skyline Trail. I have a special spot. It's up at the top of the Upper Waihole Trail as it meets the Mamame Trail, where on a good day you can see across the channel to the Big Island and the big peaks, the tallest mountains on our planet. Carol shared that Haleakala is one of the most silent places on the planet. And that's why if you are to take a helicopter trip, they can't fly you over the crater. The silence in the crater is protected by the federal government. Isn't there some irony in that? But back to my point, if you sit there, still and quiet, you notice it's not so silent. You'll hear the geese and the wind as it moves through the grasses. You'll hear those animals they call invasive, rutting and baying. And if you're present to all of those sounds, you will feel the silence. That silence that is within you. It's one of the only ways that I know how to quiet my mind. To go outside, to find a place to sit. And you don't need to hike to 10,000 feet to find it. We can do it right here, right now. Which button do I push? Not that one. There we go. We look at the details. right here, right now. I've been watching the tea leaves outside the door here in the wind. Just watching the wind move the leaves around us, to feel the wind against our skin as it moves through the windows. To see how the light changes as the clouds move across the sun, as it illuminates the different colors of the tea leaves, and how the flowers change colors as the light changes through the clouds. And in that, we take a breath. We breathe. And we listen. It's one of my favorite sounds, is the wind as it moves through the trees. If you're sitting in nature, even in your own yard, you can hear the wind coming from a couple blocks away. If you listen, you'll hear it starting down the street as it makes its way to where you sit. That kind of awareness, that deep focus of attention on the details, the ant crawling across the log, and then the bird song comes in to fill in behind. We listen. A while back, many years ago, I wrote a song. Kurt helped me with it. I stood up here and read the words. And that song speaks to this a little bit. It's, breathe in each bird in flight. Count every star at night. Be still and know that this too within you will go. There's another lyric in there. It says, if I can remember, watch the earth revolve. Essentially, it's about giving it to God. Taking a few moments in your garden, taking an excursion. If I'm not out in nature at least once a week with some small kind of adventure, you know I am not in a good place in my mind. I'm at the effect of the things that are happening in the world around me. It's our task. It requires a little discipline and courage. It requires planning. Oh, here's some steps. The first one is to plan. To plan your nature outing, whether it's 5 minutes in the garden or the park nearby. Plan it. Set some time aside for it. Go sit and listen and touch on these things that I've mentioned already. Take fewer pictures. Take fewer pictures. Just be present. Feel it. If you must be active, write. Or maybe read. But don't make these shoulds. Bring them in case an inspiration comes across, where you too might experience that light within you as it's reflected around you, and experience the magic of your oneness with all of this that has been created by something that is far greater than anything we could possibly even imagine.
Wasn't that absolutely stunning and beautiful? Thank you, ladies. So that was the Father blessing from a hula. Thank you, Prentice, for explaining that. My next instruction says, say whatever you want, or something like this. I'm going to do the something like this part, okay? You can expand your consciousness of having all of your needs met by becoming a giver. This is how we prime the spiritual pump and practice the law of circulation. When you give, you are enforcing your consciousness by affirming that you have something to give. When you believe and you know that you have something to give of your heart, of your abundance, of this that is here expressing through you as you, then more comes to you. And that's the law of circulation. So our offertory prayer, okay, I got to push a button again. There it is. I think most of us know this, but we can also read the words. Through a grateful, giving heart, my mind and life overflow with the abundance of God's all-providing infinite supply. And so it is. So I think we've got folks doing the collecting bit. Robin tells me I have a video. Okay, so does anybody know how to get this video to work? Carol? Oh, wait, there it goes.
Father, it's okay. You don't have to stay in this world any longer. The road ahead's been paved by those that have been saved. With every step you take, your spirit grows stronger. And these words I've always meant when I say you're heaven sent, from that place where all begins to find no ending. And I always will believe, in my heart receive all the truth and the wisdom that you will be sending. So shine down from above, rain on me your love. Oh, to wash me away from the sorrow and pain, all the guilt and the shame, and all of those anchors I harbor. Oh, Father, I feel your spirit stepping stronger. Please show me the way when my light won't shine no longer.
What you see on the screen says that Eric visited us a few weeks ago and shared this beautiful song. He wrote this song while his dad was transitioning in the hospital, and he is singing this song to us. So this is another contribution to fathers and fathers as they depart. and the love that we feel for having been blessed by a Father's presence, love, caring, guidance. So now I get to bless the offering. Blaine's so good at his homework. He scripted me again. Loving Spirit, we are thankful for these gifts that have come to us in love. We know the energy of prosperity and love is moving through this ministry, across this island, and out into the world. We see a world filled with love, prosperity, and peace, and a world that works for everyone. Thank you, loving Spirit. And so it is. Thank you. Okay, we have a few announcements today. One of them, much to Robin's chagrin, we're going to honor Robin because she she will be leaving us for a while. I understand she will be back at some point in the future. And Joy has a beautiful lay for her and has announced to me.
Okay, so this is a song that hopefully lots of you know. So if you do, please sing with me. We'll sing it 3 times. So even if you don't know it by the 3rd time, you can catch on. Okay, here we go. We love you, Robin. Oh, yes, we do. We love you, Robin, and we'll be true. When you're not with us, we're blue. Oh, Robin, we love you. We love you, Robin. Oh, we love you, do. We love you, Robin, and we'll be true. When you're not with us, we're blue. Oh, Robin, we love you. Maybe we won't torture her with a 3rd verse. We love you, Robin. And I just want to say that even though we're going to miss you very much, I am so happy for you answering your call to do what you feel called to do. And your students are just so blessed to have you. I can't even imagine what a wonderful class you will have. And there's a card somewhere with everybody's name on it, so who signed it for you too, that you can take. I don't know where it wound up, but we'll find it.
Not to wear mascara this morning.
Yeah, that was a good thought. And last week you said you wanted chocolate, so there will be chocolate for you after the service.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have any words of wisdom you want to share with us on this?
Just that I love you all. I'm very moved. I love you all. I'm sad to go. But you know what? I always leave this time of year because one of the agreements of where I live, where I mooch off my sister, is that the room is open. My room becomes my niece's room. So I have to leave this time of year. So it feels like I'm just leaving like normal. I'll just be gone a little longer than usual, but I'll be back. So thank you all for the love and the support. And it's all you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
I've been so impacted by you that I went and bought you a turtle lay. And for the classroom, where you can put your key or whatever you need on there.
I'm excited about this.
A nice turtle lanyard. Yeah.
Thank you.
Love ya.
See, this is an example of teamwork, folks. I had no idea that was happening. Looks like there's something else going on here. Oh, I know what it is. It's the card. Make sure you sign Robin's card when it comes around. Okay, next things. See all these beautiful roses here? Our beloved Mike and Michelle, every year, bring us roses for both Mother's Day and Father's Day. Father's Day is today, so I believe, Joy, are you going to be the one to have pass those around? Another example of our abundance. So I understand. There's a slide. Uh-oh. Wait. Push a button. Aha. Look at that. Today's roses are offered by Michelle and Mike to celebrate anyone who is a father or who has or had a father. I think that's all of us. Don't we all get to claim that one? Okay, second part. Oh, wait. Adam will be our speaker next Sunday. His talk is titled, and you may ask yourself, how do I work this? Which is going to be done in Adam's own unique expression and sense of humor that we all love and appreciate. And I truly miss him today because this is his job. But anyway, here we go. All right, got to push another button. There it is. Wow, that should be very entertaining. And then the prayer for protection. So let's stand and affirm this. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.
Where I live.